Monarch Media keeping tabs on the ODU football program. Spring practice in the rearview mirror. We're pleased to be joined by the Monarchs football coach, Bobby Wilder. Coach, first thoughts coming out of spring of 2016?
Oh, really excited about where we are right now, Ted. It was everything I hoped it would be in terms of competitiveness, kids battling through adversity. We had about a 6-practice stretch where it was rain, wind, cold, and we're not going to cancel it. We're going to practice because we played 4 games last year in bad weather, and just really excited with coming out, Ted. We've got 55 players on the roster that have game experience. I mean, that's a lot of experience, and though we're still relatively young from a standpoint of we only have 14 seniors on a roster, that'll be 105 for camp. It'll probably be up around 115 the first day of classes with the preferred walk-ons that'll join the team. So you're talking there's going to be over 100 kids that are going to be back the following year. So having those 55 kids with experience, that was good. We were able to build on that. We're able to do a lot more than we've done in the past just because we've got kids that have done it. So you can add more in offense, defense, and special teams. And then to see the 17 players that we redshirted that got their opportunity to shine, I feel like right now, Ted, we're going into fall camp with a nucleus of about 70 kids that can play. And that's going to create a lot of competition.
That was going to be my next point. When you have the recruits that are redshirting, you still haven't really seen them against college players yet, especially these are FBS recruits. Mm-hmm. When you finally get them into the flow, how exciting is it? Mm-hmm. And do you kind of reevaluate what you saw on high school tape, what you saw in the living room, to what you see on the practice field with them?
Yeah, not only, Ted, is that one of the fun parts of spring practice from a coaching perspective, is you get to see these young guys that, for all intent and purposes, in the fall they were running scout teams. They were performing the other team's offense and defensive practice. So they most of the time they're reading a card and trying to perform and help the players that are playing prepare for a game. Well, when you go into the spring, the biggest difference is now you're running your system and you get to see these young guys in your system. They're running your plays, and you get to see their growth and development. And that's one of the things I love about spring practice, and that's why spring practice is so important, because this is really their first opportunity to show you what they can do. And as you're building your depth chart, as you have some young guys fighting for starting jobs, which we do, case in point, Danzel Williams, a true freshman safety who played at Dinwiddie in high school. He was having a phenomenal spring until he had a knee injury previously that came back up, and so he missed the last 7 practices. But wow, what an impression he made, Ted. And those are the things you wouldn't see if you didn't have 15 practices to allow those young guys to learn the system and perform.
Also, we see more tight end formations, et cetera. Wasn't that a nice thing? You wanted to do that a year ago, but injuries said no. Tell us about the development of the tight end position for Old Dominion.
Wow, what a difference that makes, Ted. And to try to break it down in layman's terms, when you have a tight end, you can do more things in the run game and with play action. When you're a 4-wide set, as we evolved to with Taylor Heineke at quarterback, you're pretty limited in what you can do. You can do a lot of things in the pass game, but in the run game, there's only a couple plays you can run without a tight end. Now when you put a tight end in the game, it's not just zone running schemes. Now you can run power schemes. You can man block. You can run multiple plays. We've now got 8 different run plays that schematically our offense can do versus different things we're seeing defensively. And it gives the defense an entirely different perspective. And now off those run plays, Ted, as you noticed from watching us this spring, now there's a lot more play action. Now you're faking those run plays, and you've got guys running down the field in one-on-one situations. Coach Scott, our offense coordinator, did a study through the spring, Ted, of explosive plays, and he broke it down into runs or pass that gained 20 yards, 30 yards, or 40 yards. And this is the most explosive plays we've ever had, not only in a spring, but comparatively speaking within a season. And as you know, we've been pretty explosive on offense around here. So that's got us all really excited from the standpoint of it was entirely different looks. And it was really good, Ted, for our defense, because our defense never gets to practice against tight end formations, but we see so many of them in the league. So having the tight end back and then having somebody like Melvin Vaughn out of Oscar Smith High School, who I think is going to be one of the best players in the league. His future is limitless. Just having him back makes all the difference in the world for our team.
During spring ball, you want to combine the competition at each and every position with getting the new guys some work, with keeping everybody healthy, with making sure the program moves forward. How do you juggle all of that? Because it's football. There's a danger for injury anytime you go out there. How do you make sure that the practices are intense and competitive and yet not too dangerous?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ted. Strategically, I always start looking about a month before spring ball, looking at our roster, seeing where we have depth. And as I mentioned, this is the most depth we ever had. So when I met with the staff, we felt like we could have a competitive spring. There were some guys that we didn't let be as involved as others. For example, Melvin Vaughn coming off the ACL, we limited him in certain things. And, typical Melvin, he's a competitor. He wasn't happy with that. But we sat it down and explained to him why. David Washington, also coming off the ACL, he wasn't allowed to participate in any of the 11-on-11 team situations. He was allowed to do some 7-on-7 individuals. So we mapped out a plan for certain guys that we knew had to be monitored. But the other thing we did, Ted, is most of the heavy work, the scrimmage, what looked like a game, would happen on Saturday. So similar to a season. During the week, not so much. Those practices were really, we held the kids back. There wasn't a lot of tackle. We were in what we call wrap segments where everybody's got to stay off the ground. So we were very strategic in how we did those live segments, and there were really only 4 major scrimmage situations, and then we always gave them a week to recover in between that. Had a plan with our training staff and our strength and conditioning staff on that. So we really came out of it healthy, Ted.
From here, before September 3rd, what happens between now and then?
Yeah, right now the players are in finals week right up until May 5th, and then they'll get almost 2 full weeks off. They'll start their summer session on May 16th, and then they'll start their workouts, their conditioning, their lifting drills. We'll strategically give them some breaks in the summer. They'll get a week off around July 4th, and then a week off that first week in August before camp. So Coach Martin and Coach Mack, our strength guys, do a really good job of knowing when they're about to hit the wall based on past experience, give them some time off, and then we'll start camp on August 7th.
The excitement is building. Old Dominion in the 2016 football season. Hampton's going to be here before you know it. Wow. For the coach, Bobby Wilder, I'm Ted Alexander from Monarch Media.